What's going on, YouTube Metal Complex here, and today I am very excited to be doing a video on the Doug Ritter Hogue RSK MK1 G2, which is essentially the Benchmade Griptilian, except it is made by Hogue with Doug Ritter's famous blade that was originally on the Benchmade Griptilian version of this knife. It was a long-winded explanation of what this is. I've been waiting for this for a while. This is a KnifeWorks exclusive, as far as I know. And they run is it $152 or $155? I can't remember. Got a notification the other day, hey, it's ready to be shipped. We just need you to pay for the rest of it. So went ahead and did it, and it came in, and I'm really excited to have it here. So really, really cool. Please excuse the lighting. We are still getting hammered by this weird inland hurricane, and the natural lighting is not gonna do anything for me today because it's super cloudy and very dark here. So I'm using the incandescent lighting setting on my phone, and this is the best quality that I can get. So today's video, tomorrow's video, and if I do a video for Sunday, will all look like this because I record them all at once. I do not record videos on the weekend because I like to spend time with my family. Anyways, let's go ahead and do some measurements here. For those of you familiar with the Benchmade Griptilian, it's the exact same length as the Griptilian, 8 inches overall, with a 3.4-inch blade, and the cutting edge is, it's like 3.3, 3.4, something like that. Let's do some size comparisons here real quick. Up against the Rat Ontario 1, 8.6 inches. Did I say Rat Ontario 1? Ontario Rat Model 1. What the heck? Spyderco Paramilitary 2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall. You guys will notice that's laying a little better because I finally switched the freaking pocket clip over. I don't know why that took me so long. Up against the actual Benchmade Griptilian. Exactly the same length. 8 inches overall. And last but not least, the Spyderco Delica coming in at 7 inches overall. Taking a step backwards here real quick, I'm going to record a versus video between the original Benchmade Griptilian and the new Hogue Ritter. It'll be a comparison and contrast, and I'm going to talk about the differences between the two knives, and I'll do that for tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that video. Anyways, let's go ahead and get a weight on this guy. Get my scale here real quick. Oh, that was bad. This is actually, the action on this is really good. You can whip that into place really, really easily. All right. Sorry again about the lighting. We've got direct overhead lighting, so we're getting some reflection there. 4.55 ounces. That's surprising to me. It feels lighter than that. 4.59 ounces. So it's about 4.5 ounces, a little over 4.5 ounces. That's really surprising to me. Guys, this knife feels a lot lighter than that. That's interesting. Maybe my excitement for this is blinding my senses, or kind of dulling my senses for weight. But I'm really, really excited about this knife. In fact, to save some of you some trouble, I know some of you guys are going to watch this whole video because you're really cool and that's what you do. But some of you guys just want to know what I think and move on. So you know what? I'm going to do you a favor. At 3 minutes and 55 seconds into this video, the rest of this video is going to be me talking about how amazing this knife is, how close to the line of perfection this knife truly is. I honestly believe that Doug Ritter and Hogue, and with the culmination, the design of this knife, they are single-handedly forcing the evolution of the modern tactical folding knife. This thing just nails so many things right on the head, gets it so perfect. This is going to check so many boxes for so many people. The line of diminishing returns is even brought back. You know, personally for me, I know you guys think that my line of diminishing returns for a folding knife is probably $425, which is the exact cost of a base XM18 because I'm such a big fan of those. Truthfully, no. If I'm going to be honest with myself, it's about $240, $250 is about where I feel that that was. About the ZT0562 line, you know, up there you're getting American made, titanium frame locks on bearings and M390, and you're getting excellent fit and finish, you're getting excellent tolerances, blah, blah, blah. Then I handled this knife. $155 for M390 in that blade shape. These tolerances, the fit and finish. I mean, the line for diminishing returns for me now is $155. This is amazing. So if that's all you wanted to hear, yeah, I'm going to move in and go into detail, and I'm going to give you close-ups and talk about this stuff, but this knife is darn near perfect, and that's what I'm going to say. So I figured maybe I might just help some people out. You know, if you want to move on and you want to get this knife for yourself, go ahead and do it. There's no reason not to get this knife. It's that good. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on and do the paper cut test here. As always, the paper cut test is not a definitive cutting test. It's basically just an opportunity for me to give you guys my impressions of the edge right out of the box. What I do is I take a pass with the universal standard of sliciness, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Then I take a pass with the knife in question, and I compare the resistance of it versus the PM2. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I kind of feel like, you know, this is pointless, especially with this knife. Some of you guys will get stuff out of this, or get something out of this, and some of you won't. That's just the way that it is. PM2, slicey as ever. It feels exactly the same as the PM2, if not a little bit better. That blade is just ridiculous. You have a very thin point. It's like I think it's 11 thousandths. Something like that. Much thinner than the Paramilitary 2's .145 or 145 thousandths thick blade. The blade thickness is exactly the same. I don't want to do too many comparisons with the old Benchmade or the original Benchmade Griptilian, but it's the exact same thickness as the original Benchmade Griptilian. We'll go over more of that when we do the battle or the comparison tomorrow, or whenever I upload that. I don't know. Anyways. So, yeah, this thing is a slicing machine. That's not new information. Like I said, this blade shape honestly, it looks like they've refined the finish a little bit on the blade shape, and maybe how the jimping looks and the thumb studs. We'll go over that. But it's by and large the exact same blade shape that we've all come to know and love from the Ritter grip, as we all used to call it. So I don't think there are too many people out there who don't like this blade shape. It's a very classic drop point blade. The flat is quite high. The flat only covers about 25 to 30% the top of the blade, so it gets to drop right there, all the way down to a nice, ridiculously thin cutting edge. I mean, that is a really, really nice cutting edge. Take a look at the finish here. We now have some additional reflectivity in this thing, and my lighting and my camera settings are not going to do that any justice, but you can see there the reflection on my hand. That's really, really nice in person. You've got that nice light stonewashing on there. The blade just looks really, really good. Big fan of that. It's nice that they just kind of touched it up a little bit from the original. The thumb studs now have some additional, you know, those grooves separating the horizontal lines there. They catch your thumb. I don't know if they catch your thumb a little bit better or not. It looks nice. The logo there, the Doug Ritter logo looks nice. The M390 looks nice. It's not, you know, like jumping out in your face. It's subtle. Looks really good. The jimping, I think, on the back of this has been changed from the Ritter grip. I don't know if it offers any improved traction, but it looks really nice. Everything's nicely chamfered, or chamfered, however you want to say that. Rounded off really, really nicely. No complaints there whatsoever with the blade. This blade is perfection. It's one of the most utilitarian blades. They've taken the most utilitarian blade shape and made it perfect both aesthetically and in function. I'm sure is going to be a few people out there who are like, I don't like that blade shape, you know. But it's just... It's like the best blade shape around for an EDC pocket knife. It's going to be good at so many different things. You know, you don't have to 100% agree with me, but they really knocked it out of the park. You know, why change what isn't broken? It's a great blade shape. They didn't change it. They made the right choice. Moving on down to the scales, what we have are some really, really cool G10 scales. Originally, I want to point this out. I was looking at the box and I was like, here, I'll read this to you. Doug Ritter RSK MK1 G2 drop point tumble finish blade, black G10 Able trademark lock folder. And originally I was like, did they trademark the pattern on the G10? No, the Able lock is what they're referring to, which is essentially the axis lock. I guess I think the way that and I'm not a professional on this, is I think the patent on the axis lock ended or something is allowing Hogue and Doug Ritter to use the axis lock that was up until now, I think, almost exclusively used on Benchmade knives and maybe some of the Shirogorov knives. I don't know. I don't know how all that works, but they're legally allowed to use that, and they're calling it the Able lock. So anyways, moving on here. The pattern on the G10 scales is very impressive. Some people may not like it aesthetically. I really like it. It's kind of got this sunburst or starburst pattern. Lines in every direction. And then down here, where your fingers fall naturally as you're gripping this knife, you have these U-shaped swooping lines that move horizontally against the, or horizontally kind of in a U-shaped pattern, against these lines that move at an angle more vertically down the knife. So you have traction in every direction, allowing you to lock into the knife perfectly. But unlike the peel ply texture that you might find on some Spyderco knives, Emerson knives, things like that, this pattern does not fray your pants, or won't fray your pants as easily over time. I'm putting this knife in my pocket off camera for nobody's benefit but my own, because you guys can't see it. But coming in and out of the pocket, it's incredibly easy, which is nice, because I like to be able to put these knives, my EDC knife, away with one hand, in and out of the pocket. And I don't like knives that tear my pocket up. The Manix 2 does that, but I love the Manix 2 so much that I just deal with it. I just figure, well, I'll just buy new jeans after a while. But with this knife, the texture pattern on the G10 is not going to make that nearly as much of a problem. So I really appreciate that. And you do lock in really well. You also have ever so slightly an additional bump here on the handle, which is not present on the original Griptilian. You can see there, it's just a little bit different right there. We'll talk about that more in the battle or the compare video between these two. But that's really nice. Makes for an easy lock-in. You've got a simple Torx head pivot up top, no different, I think, than the standard Benchmade Griptilian. You have a little bit different design on the axis lock itself with those grooves to match the thumb stud. Looks really nice. Has a little bit more tension, if I'm not mistaken, than the standard Benchmade Griptilian, and honestly feels a little bit more solid. That may just be my bias for this knife over the Benchmade Griptilian. Spoiler alert, I like this better than the original Benchmade Griptilian. But it does honestly feel that way. My favorite thing about the hardware on this version is that instead of using the very frustrating teeny tiny Torx head pivot, or I'm sorry, Torx head screws that normally come on the Griptilian, they've got the next size up, which is just that's so good. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you. I don't have to worry about messing up the screw heads or my tools nearly as much, because there's actually room to get them in there. So that's really nice. I really love that. You do have the position for left-handed carry on this knife, which is great because the axis lock makes it truly ambidextrous. On the other side, it's much of the same thing, except you have this beautiful and perfect pocket clip. Some of you guys aren't going to agree with me, but I think that this is my new favorite pocket knife or pocket clip that exists. Honestly, what I think they did is they took the original Benchmade Griptilian deep carry clip and the famous Spyderco spoon clip, and they took the best qualities from each clip and they just put them together and made one perfect clip. So let me pull these up close here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You can see that we still have the deep carry element from the Benchmade Griptilian clip with those kind of grooves cut out there. They got rid of this, divot that is present on both knives, but they took that spoon shape from the head of the Spyderco clip and kind of the width of it at the bottom, and they just, these two pocket clips had a baby, and the Doug Ritter baby pocket clip just worked out really well. That was a weird sentence. I don't like deep carry clip. Like, actually, I don't really like the clip on the ZT-0562 that buries the knife in my pocket, but I also don't like pocket clips that have this much of the knife sticking out. So right here, that's what's sticking out. That is perfect. This pocket clip does its job, doesn't have a bunch sticking up there to catch on stuff and rip the clip off of there. It's smooth. It's easy to use to draw the knife from your pants. It's easy to put the knife back into your pants. And it's also got a nice sort of stonewash finish that matches the blade and the matte finish on the standoff. So I didn't go over that, by the way. This is an open body pillar construction. It's got nice standoffs that are unique to the Ritter version. They do look different than the standoffs you see on the upgraded version of the Benchmade Griptilian. So really, really nice. But yeah, that pocket clip is just fantastic. Absolutely 100% love that. It's really nice. You know, and we've said this, or I've said this before, and many YouTubers have said this before, as far as, like, you know, knife YouTubers. The best type of knife is one that you can simply draw from your pocket, use, and put away without having to think about that. And essentially, that is exactly what we have here. We have a pocket knife that is at a reasonable weight. It's made in the USA. It has an extremely functional blade shape with no pomp or frills. It is made from a material that's very appropriate for everyday cutting tasks and longevity in those tasks, M390. You have G10 scales. G10, of course, proven to be a great, durable, and lightweight material. The texture pattern is very functional and aesthetically appealing, and it's also contoured to fit your hands, much like the original Griptilian. Open body pillar construction for easy clean out, and you know, of course, keeping structural integrity. And you have a pocket clip that looks nice and functions perfectly, but it's all sort of holding on to that minimalist nature. This is a great looking knife, but it is also at base a simple cutting tool. At this price, $155, I have no reservations whatsoever about pulling this knife out of my pocket, using it, and putting it away, and not thinking twice about it. It's still gonna bring me joy, but it's so easy. That axis lock is so easy to manipulate. That blade is so perfect for getting through cardboard, rubber, rope, paper, whatever, zip ties, probably, I don't know. Great blade shape, but the whole thing just screams to be used, you know, and I think it's going to do that job very well. It's going to do that job continuously, and it's going to do it without hang up. You're not going to be messing around and having to use two hands to get it back in your pocket, or you're not going to be worried about scratching paint off of a really pretty decorative pocket clip, or you're not going to be worried about putting a scratch on the blade, or, you know, nicking it or rolling it or whatever, because everything is just purpose built. And that's a huge support factor for why I love this thing so much, and why I'm you know, so heavily recommending it. The knife is simply so close to the line of perfection that I you know, for me at least, I cannot ignore this knife. I truthfully think that it's that good, and it's just, I don't know. I think they really knocked it out of the park there, aesthetically and functionally. So to recap here, we have a knife that has a perfect functional blade shape, comes in at a reasonable weight, is made out of materials that are very preferable in today's world, M390 and G10, has excellent fit and finish, is solid, is made in the USA, is made by a person who has had enormous influence in the knife community, and is obtainable for an extremely reasonable price. In fact, other than the red Manix 2, which was $130 for G10 and 20 CV, I think this is the best price I have ever seen on a pocket knife. In terms of material and function ratio to cost ratio, this is the best price I've ever seen. And the only reason I'm counting it above the red Manix 2 is because that was an exclusive, it was like a Sprint exclusive. So it's not like it's going to continuously be in production. Now, this is a KnifeWorks exclusive, but as far as I know, this knife is going to be continuously produced. And it should be. This is a knife that everybody should be able to get their hands on, because it's It's just perfect. It's so good. There is nothing to complain about on this knife except one thing. And this is kind of a say it isn't so thing. It's just, so let's go over what this knife comes with. We've got the box that it came in, the Hogue box. It's blue and yellow. It looks nice. Then what the knife actually comes inside is this zipper pouch that actually has the Doug Ritter and Hogue logos on the outside. It's also really nice, and I'm actually really happy that it came with that. I'm really glad I've got something like that to put it in. That's cool. I like that a lot. It came with some gun oil lubrication, which is nice. I've got plenty, but it's always nice to have more. And it came with a Hogue Knives sticker. It also came with the instruction manual, how to care for blah, blah, blah. The only thing that I don't like about this, says care and maintenance. I assume this has a warranty. I have no idea how long the warranty's for. I assume it's similar to the original Benchmade Griptilian warranty, where it's like lifetime as long as you don't do anything stupid with it. Down here, the very last thing, do not disassemble the knife. Your Hogue knife was professionally assembled and adjusted for lifetime operation. With the exception of reversing the clip on folder models or removing the scales on appropriate fixed blade models, any attempt at disassembly voids the knife's warranty. Sorry, looking at that through the camera and then it's blurry to me. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Probably sounds like I can't read. The implication there, and maybe maybe it's not actually that way, or maybe it is. You know, it sounds like we can't disassemble this knife if we need to. That is the only downside to this. If that is actually the case, I really hope that they change that, because this is a knife that a lot of people are going to buy, and at this price point, it's a knife that a lot of people are going to use. And I mean, in extreme numbers. So with that being the case, you're going to have a lot of people at some point who are going to need to or feel very compelled to disassemble this knife for cleaning and maintenance purposes. So that kind of sucks. Because of how incredible this knife is, that's like, it's kind of a little, it's not, I wouldn't call it a thorn in my side. It's kind of like when you go outside in your bare feet and you step on that sticker or that burr in your driveway and you're like, God dang it, and then you got to peel it out of there. It's annoying and it hurts a little bit, but it's not gonna cripple me, you know. I'm still gonna go out and mow the yard later, I guess. I don't know if that's a good example or not, but that sucks if that's the case. Maybe somebody else can confirm that that's not true, or maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. That's the only downside to this knife. Other than that, it's perfect. I absolutely 100% recommend it. This might be one of the greatest folding knives of all time. Using a platform that was already one of the greatest folding knives of all time and just expanding on it, making it better, getting rid of the issue with Benchmade's fit and finish and taking it into their own hands and just making it perfect. That's what we've got here. This is absolutely going on my playlist of the most recommended EDC knives I've ever handled. And again, it might be one of the best of all time. Definitely, if you can get your hands on this, I don't know. I don't know if they're sold out right now or if they've become available for a short time. Chances are they will sell out again. It's worth the wait. It's worth the pre-order if you have the option. Get your hands on it, use it, love it. I'm sure it'll treat you guys well for a very, very long time. By the way, it is absolutely 100% easily reverse flickable. No problem there whatsoever. Really, really excellent. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. If you did, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel because there is definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.